In a kingdom where the rivers sang and the trees whispered secrets, there lived a queen whose beauty was matched only by her cunning heart. Yet beneath her perfect facade, envy festered like a dark, creeping shadow. The queen's mirror, a relic of ancient magic, held a voice that spoke only the truth. And each day she would ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" For many years, the mirror's answer pleased the queen, for it declared her the fairest in the land. But one fateful morning, the mirror's voice quivered with a new truth. "You, my queen, are fair, 'tis true, but Snow White is fairer still." The queen's heart twisted with fury, for Snow White was her stepdaughter, a princess whose beauty was as pure as the first snow. The queen's envy grew wild, a storm within her that no riches could soothe. How dare this child, with her skin like fresh fallen snow and lips as red as the blood of a rose, outshine her? Determined to rid herself of this threat, the queen summoned a huntsman, a man whose loyalty she thought could be bought with gold and fear. She commanded him to lead Snow White deep into the forest, and there to silence her forever. But as the innocent princess gazed up at him, her eyes wide with trust, the huntsman's resolve crumbled like the leaves underfoot. He could not harm this child, whose only crime was to exist. "Run, Snow White," he whispered urgently. "Run and never return." And with a heart heavy with guilt, he let her go, leaving the queen to believe her evil deed was done. Snow White fled deeper and deeper into the forest until her legs gave way beneath her. But fate, in its kindness, led her to a quaint cottage nestled among the trees. Inside she found not danger but comfort, for this was the home of 7 dwarfs, each with a heart as big as his smile. They took her in, charmed by her sweetness and innocence, and soon the cottage rang with laughter and song, a beacon of light in the dark woods. But the queen's heart was a pit of darkness, and when the mirror revealed that Snow White still lived, her rage knew no bounds. She turned to her deepest, blackest magic, crafting a poisoned apple so red, so tempting, that none could resist. Disguised as a peddler woman, the queen set out for the cottage, her face twisted with malice beneath her hood. When Snow White saw the old woman at her door, her kind heart opened wide with pity. She did not see the danger behind the woman's eyes, only the promise of a sweet, juicy apple. One bite was all it took. As the poison coursed through her, Snow White fell to the ground, her breath stilled, her beauty preserved in deathly sleep. The dwarfs returned home to find her lifeless, and their hearts broke as one. They could not bear to bury her, so they laid her in a glass coffin, where all could see her still, as beautiful as the day they met her. The forest mourned with them, the animals crying out in sorrow, the trees weeping their leaves. But true love cannot be extinguished by death alone. A prince, who had heard tales of the fair maiden in the woods, came upon the coffin, and was struck by the depth of her beauty and innocence. Overcome with grief and longing, he leaned down to press a kiss upon her cold lips, a kiss filled with the purest love. And as his lips touched hers, the spell broke. Snow White's eyes fluttered open, and the forest burst into joyous song. The dwarfs danced with glee, the animals rejoiced, and the prince lifted Snow White into his arms, vowing never to let her go. As for the queen, when she learned that Snow White had triumphed, her fury consumed her, leaving her to face a fate of her own making, lost in the darkness she had conjured. Snow White and her prince returned to the kingdom, where they ruled with wisdom and kindness. Their story, a tale of innocence and love overcoming the deepest evil, was told for generations, a beacon of hope that good will always triumph over envy and malice. And so the kingdom flourished ever after,